Welcome back, and let's kick off immediately with some other requests here. And the first one is AGL Energy, and also listed on the Nasdaq. And that's quite interesting. I mean, this share is coming from whoa. It's coming from above $16, and that was during 2019. And since then, it just collapsed all the way. I mean, early in 2022, it sort of gave us a beautiful relief bounce, but unfortunately now it looks like it wants to move lower again. And for me, that makes me a little bit worried, because this little place here, maybe just showing the viewers here, and the moment I use these two little lines, you guys will see straight away what I'm showing here. There's a classic tiny double top that developed there. There's the double top. And we know that that double top will only come into play below this level. There's that level. There you are. And what happened? It came in play, it bounced up, but what we see is a double top there with higher lows, two tops there, but with this little move there, we see a lower high, and now it's confirming that. And remember, this is a weekly chart, but what I don't like is, can you see that little move there? That little move on a weekly chart, and remember the S&P had quite a strong week behind it. That's almost a negative goodbye kiss. So for me, unfortunately, I'm negative on the chart, and what makes me a little bit more worried is that even this support, that support, and I can maybe tell you when that was formed, that support was formed in February 2022. And it is still below that, and that is now a resistance. That is negative. So for me personally, it needs to get above this line before I'm even interested in buying the share. And I don't like this move, because it's almost like a rounding top. What do we want? A double top, a lower high confirmed, a technical goodbye kiss, a break below a support line, turn into a resistance. For me, unfortunately, I don't like the chart at the moment. It needs to change before I can get positive again, and it will only get positive above that resistance line, because we can even head a little bit lower. We've seen it in markets that sometimes shares go much higher than what you think, and if they start to drop, they fall much lower than even what you can anticipate for. Let us look at Royal Bafokeng, and you can know that, all of you know that there's a rumor in the market. Well, there's not a rumor in the market. Northern Platinum and Impala Platinum and Royal Bafokeng, they're almost in a struggle to see if they can maybe access some more platinum ore, because they are very positive. But I can remember when this news broke that there's some other interested parties in Royal Bafokeng. What happened? There's the share. It went from 75.40 in September 21 all the way up to close to 174.36. And that's now a classic case of buy the rumor, because everybody bought it, and then suddenly sell the fact. So the moment it got official that there's some other interested players in Royal Bafokeng, suddenly it started to lose momentum. And what do we see since then? We see a higher, lower high, all the way. But now it looks like there is maybe some renewed action there. It looks like there's maybe a new rumor coming, and maybe there's some of the bigger players like Impala Platinum that even wants more shares of this company. Because what do we see here? If we look at that, there's the level for me. I just want to say to you, if it breaks above that level, 150.54, it looks like this sell-off has been completed, and we can maybe see a little bit of a bounce again from there. But where's my stop loss? My stop loss is at 142.49. Below 142.49, I'll be nervous on the company. I will think of maybe locking in my loss. But I mean, if it breaks above that line, where can it go to? It can go to 158.59. 165.30, and even as high, where was that high? Can you believe it? That high was at 175.37. So it looks like beautiful rally, a cool off period, maybe a little bit of a bounce above that, because definitely there is some players that believe that they're sitting on wonderful ore reserves, and the guys can make benefit of that, and probably that's why everybody is behind this share and trying to buy as many shares as they can. Why? Because they want control of the company eventually. Let us have a look at Discovery. I mean, Discovery is almost, as we can say, a share that is just disappointing. And it's not the company that's disappointing, the share price is disappointing. And the reason why everybody was quite convinced that the company is making some good money. And what happened? Yes, they came out the other day and they said, well, guys, we've got some nice results and we're quite happy about it. But what will we do? We will cut the dividend. We will not even pay a dividend. And I mean, what we see is from about 136 to 111 Rand in one go, the share was just sold off. What it tells me is even here right at the top, when the share was at around 181, that was in March. I mean, that was a few months ago. Maybe some insiders knew that the dividend is going to be skipped, although the company made good money. And for me now, that's quite simple. We had a few companies in the past that actually disappointed shareholders. One was Brait when they bought that new look venture in Europe that is actually only looking a little bit better now, but the share price collapsed from way above 100 Rand to where it's now around 4 Rand. Look at Discovery from 180 to that, and that's just because they've cut their dividend. And immediately investors will say, but why do they cut the dividend? Maybe there's some bad news coming. So for me, I think for the Discovery, you can almost say team, maybe you need to surprise investors again and maybe pay a dividend again in future. But for me, technically, if I look at this chart, what happens? There you are, only above 118 Rand. This chart will move above this strong resistance line. Now, I mean, we know this is a waterfall formation. We know it's not looking good. Let's maybe just look at the candles first and just see. And there you are. You can see a clear picture here. Actually, ugly selling here. We know it's a waterfall, but even this little candle, you know, and remember, this is a weekly chart. This is not even a daily chart. That tells you that and that is what we call a beautiful teardrop candle. Sometimes it is a turnaround candle. But for the moment, I will say, let's wait for this resistance line to turn into support before we even look at the share. And why? Because investors are so despondent. I mean, the whole world is craving for income. And now you get a company doing wonderfully well and suddenly they cut their dividend. It really doesn't make sense. And for the viewer that wants to buy it, I think play poker face. Waits for this line to turn into a support. Use your stop loss of 108.50, and then maybe we can see a beautiful V-shape recovery. I really hope so, because a lot of investors actually counted on that dividend, and I hope it's also a lesson for Discovery, unless they knew about it and they told their other players, listen boys, we're not going to pay the dividend, and zoops, there they all sold out, and maybe they will only buy now. But that you will never know, and we will never know. But at least the company is still doing good, and they're telling everybody that they're making some good money. You guys know that I like Remgro. I like the whole Remgro group, Remgro, Reinet, Richmond. I mean, because they're solid players. But there's something in this chart, on a weekly chart, that actually tells me something. And this is Remgro. And if I may be not wrong, I hope I'm wrong, is that look at this. Can we believe that Remgro is making a head and shoulder formation? Remember, these guys sit on a lot of cash. They're brilliant players. They know what they do. But look what we see here. We see a left shoulder. We see this massive head. And we see a right shoulder that's been developing now. And we maybe start to see another right shoulder. But what worries me is this neckline, and there's the conservative target, and where's the neckline? The neckline is sitting at 125.90. My conservative target will be 115.97. But look at my full target. If that plays out, just want to do that so that you can see where I get this from. There you are. Just want to extend it down there. And it can take the share all the way down to 108.52. The reason why I'm showing this chart is because Remgro is attracting a lot of informed capital, because these guys know that they're busy here with a wonderful company and they know what they buy quality. And if you get a chart with a head and shoulder formation like this, and it's a quality good company, it tells you something is on the boil. So for me, I want this share to move above 142.04, wipe off this right shoulder and make everybody happy again so that it can turn around. But boy, oh boy, if it breaks this neckline and that turns into a resistance, this chart is actually an ugly chart, and I hope I'm completely wrong. We talked about Brait, and I want to finish the show off with this discussion of Brait, and I hope that the share can maybe turn around. I mean, it's coming from well above, I think, 190 Rand, but just have a look here. I mean, we're sitting here what we call a descending triangle, and that's not a good formation, because a descending triangle, everything hangs on to this support. This is the crucial support. If that support breaks, and that is below 367, we can see this company go all the way back to 280. Where's my target? You can see, if I extend that, you will see it immediately. It looks like that Look, the company which they bought in right at the wrong time, right at the top of Look. And I mean, this is investment companies, or even companies that say that they know what they do. And what happened? It was a disaster. So my target here is 285. I hope I'm completely wrong. But let's be positive and hope that New Look will turn around. And above this level of 458, chart can maybe turn around and maybe prove us all wrong, and maybe start to give us beautiful higher lows. I hope for a lot of investors that's involved with this company that it turns out, but I do not like this strong support line. If that breaks at 368, things can really turn out to be very ugly. So let's hold on. We've got two dogs here. The one is Discovery, the other one is Brait. Let's hope that they turn around and show us that they can improve. Well, visit our website www.fransklerk.com for more info, and we'll chat again.